Good evening, YouTube, or late afternoon to you, YouTube. This is Hardball Crazy Comeback Video. Derek here with a special mail day. And this will be a latest installment of my Uncommon Commons. This is where you think of players you see in the common bins in the boxes, and just regular players and managers you had thought just kind of blow off. You say, he was good, he made the major leagues, had a career, blah, blah. But their life and career is much more impactful or uncommon, as you may say. So I call them my uncommon commons. And I knew this player uh, as a player, and then later a manager, but I did nothing really more about him. I recently learned about his history, and wow, impactful legacy he has. Who am I talking about? This is Fred Hutchinson of the Detroit Tigers. This is 49 Bowman rookie card. He does have other cards prior to this, dating back to 1939 with some Gaudi wide pins or premiums. He's got a 47 tip top bread card, but this is by Beckett, his rookie card. Got this pretty good price, real good price. It's pretty cheap. For Hutchinson, it's not expensive whatsoever. More about Hutchinson, or Hutch, as is normally known. He's from the Seattle area, Northwest area. Was a pretty heralded pitcher growing up, athlete, pitcher. He started out with the newly minted PCL Seattle Rainiers, and he during the PCL he was considered the best prospect in all minor leagues. He was a pitcher, had a solid record, and the Tigers won a bidding war to acquire Mr. Hutchinson over like the Yankees and Pirates and some others. But as his career started with the Tigers, struggled a little bit at first, and he was sent to the minors and eventually became a star pitcher. He did make one All-Star team. He played 10 years in the major leagues with some those years, obviously, with the era he was in. He did participate in World War II, missed some years there. But he had 10 years of service in the major leagues. The Detroit Tigers won 95 games. He was more of a control pitcher, not a strikeout guy. He had 95 wins, like 70 or 60 some losses. I guess mid threes ERA, solid. Made one All-Star team. He had rotation longs with Hal Newhouser, Dizzy Trout, Virgil Trucks, and Hutchinson. So they had pretty good rotation back in the day. Around into the 50s, 52 or so, the Tigers were doing terrible, and they fired manager Red Rolfe, and the Tigers went on to name as Hutchinson as their manager, even though he's still active pitcher, which got me thinking, what other pitchers were also player managers? I couldn't think of any off the top of my head, so I did a little research. And I found there was a whole bunch during pre-World War II where player managers was much more of a common thing. But Hutchinson is actually Hutch here was actually the last player manager pitcher in baseball history. There's a little tidbit. If you want to stump anybody who was the last pitcher player manager, it's Hutch here, Fred Hutchinson. So he after he became manager, his playing parts became sparingly. He ended up quitting his playing days in the mid 53 or so. So he participated in a few games as a pitcher and a manager. He was a manager of Detroit Tigers with the young Al Kaline came aboard, and Hutchinson's Al Kaline put it. Hutch's managerial style was play hard, play smart, don't embarrass me, don't embarrass yourself on the field. Play the right way. If we lose the right way. We're not going to get embarrassed out there making mistakes, doing stupid things. He was a no-nonsense guy. He tells you how it is, which players love because they want to know how the managers feel, what their roles on the team, and Hutchinson did that. The Tigers slightly improved as under Hutchinson, and he wanted like a 2-year contract, and the Tiger Brass decided not only give about a 1-year deal. So he left the Detroit Tiger organization, went back to Seattle area, back to PCL and Rainiers, and led the Rainiers to a PCL title with as a manager. got back hired with the Cardinals, won a Manager of the Year with the Cardinals, and did well there. But the Cardinals ownership kind of was meddling in the player personnel decisions and managerial decisions, and who should play, who shouldn't, all that type of stuff. And Hutchinson, no nonsense, I'm the boss type of on the field general. He's like, nope, not going to do this anymore. So he left the Cardinals organization and being part of the Cincinnati Reds. And he led the Reds in the 1961 National League pennant, lost to the Yankees in '61, and had a young team of a young Frank Robinson and Vada Pinson, and later rookie Pete Rose. At the end of he's continued being a Reds manager, and in the fall after the season 1963, he discovered he had some lumps and growths, and so he went to his back home where his older brother was a doctor up in the Seattle area, and found out he had cancer. He had lung cancer, and over the winter he had some treatments and chemo and rested up, and by '64 season started, he had enough strength to go back to manage the Reds. But he was still fatigued and losing weight and such, and sadly after '64 season, he passed away due to cancer. He had lung cancer because he was a big-time smoker, several packs a day type smoker. And the Reds honored him by retiring his #1 jersey number. And in '65, soon after, the year after that, MLB established a Hutch Award, where they give it to a person who, the player who personifies persistence, and going through diversity and fighting spirit and all that. And starting '60, Mickey Mantle was the first recipient. The trophy is permanently at Cooperstown, and the trophy is given out yearly since then, but they haven't really given out a player since like 2019 to Dee Gordon. But there's a yearly MLB Hutch Award given to a player with a fighting spirit and so forth. His older brother, like I said, was a doctor, so they started the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center, Research Center in Seattle. It became a thing in 1975, and now it is one of the biggest and largest cancer research and treatment centers in all the world, and is now known as just as Fred Hutch or the Hutch. So Fred Hutchinson's impact goes well beyond just the baseball fields. He is now synonymous with cancer fighting, cancer treatment, because of his dedication, his working spirit, and his brother leaving the legacy of his name in fighting cancer. So anybody who has gone through the Hutch, the Fred Hutch there, Cancer Treatment Center in the Seattle, Washington area, should be thankful of the Hutchinson family and his impact. And if you're familiar with the Fred Hutch, you're from the Northwest and you have no idea his backstory, there it is. A couple other things, tidbits on Hutchinson in the Seattle area, is that when the Safeco Field, Seattle's new stadium, I can't remember what the name of the new stadium is called now, opened up in 1999, Hutchinson's grandson, Joey Hutchinson, was the first kid, as a kid, was the first person to run bases around the bases at the new Seattle stadium. And Hutchinson has dedications into the stadium, throughout the stadium also. So Fred Hutchinson is a Seattle legend. His legacy goes beyond just baseball. And All-Star Manager, Manager of the Year, retired number, and cancer fighter for generations beyond him. Thank you for watching. Y'all have a good night.